Hello everyone, I think it's a good time to start. We have most people in. We'll have some more joining along the way. Welcome to this webinar about ArabellaBlue and LoretoBlue. Everybody on the webinar, on the call, has been invited because you are currently trialing ArabellaBlue or LoretoBlue, or you're already in commercial plantation, or you have clear interest in these varieties. Our goal today is to show everyone some early performances on these varieties in commercial fields, our trials, which are set all around Europe, and we'll see some global results as well. And we're going to share some insights from our applied research department. But before we start, we have a translation tool active. There should be a link in the chat. Yes, there we go. If you click the link in the chat or scan the QR code, which is on your screen, you can select your native language, listen to this presentation in your native language, or you can read it. There's two options. So I'll give everybody that wants to make use of this tool a couple of seconds, minutes to start it up, for those who are not well familiar with the English language. If you would like to use the option where Wordly speaks to you, if you look at the images on the right, you can unmute the tool. If you do that, also mute the sound coming out of this presentation, otherwise you'll hear it in two languages, which can be very confusing. So we'll give that a few moments for people to get onto. All right, so I hope everybody that needs to get on has been able to get on. The webinar today will be recorded. The recording will be shared with all attendees and people who could not make it, who subscribe to the webinar today, for your reference. I'm going to ask everybody to mute their microphones if they're not muted already. We will unmute once we come to the Q&A section towards the end. If there is any questions during the presentations, there's a Q&A function at the top of the screen in Teams. Please use that to write your questions. If you can't wait until the end, we will address them towards the end. There's the opportunity to ask questions live yourselves in our Q&A session, or you can just type it in and we will address them at the end. So, for some of you, I might be new. My name is Teun Leenders. I'm area manager at Northern Europe, or for the Northern Territories in Fall Creek. And today I'll be hosting the webinar and getting us through this in a good manner, I hope. Our program for today, I'll do a short introduction, just a little bit of an introduction for those who are not too familiar with Fall Creek yet. I'm sure that most of you are, but still we'll do a short introduction. After that, we're going to look at our applied research and development insights that we have. Marius Padevsky, our applied research manager for High Chill Global, will enlighten us with what they know about these two varieties. Then we'll do regional insights. What have we learned in, let's say, the northern regions, specifically Poland, and our demo site in the Netherlands. This will be done by Marcin Vereszczuk, our grower support in Poland. And we'll look at the more southern regions, what are our experiences there with these two varieties. Andrea Perger, our area manager for Southeast Europe, Balkans, and the Black Sea, will take us through that. And then we'll end off with a Q&A session. I'm just getting a notice that I should share my screen. Is everybody able to see my screen? Because if not, that would be a problem. So our story begins quite a few years ago in 1978, when Barbara and Dave Brazelton, the founding members who are still with us today, decided to put blueberry farming aside and start producing blueberry plants. 45 years later, Fall Creek is still very much rooted in its history and heritage. and we're still all about blueberries. We strive for perfection in the plants that we produce and as well in the genetics that we bring to market. With vast experience within this industry and our global footprint and innovation embedded in our DNA, Fall Creek is the global leader when it comes to blueberry genetics and plant production. So, Fall Creek in a slide. So, company was founded in 1978 in the US. Fall Creek remains a family-owned company and is currently in its second generation of leadership, with over 45 years of experience and over 40 commercial varieties released, and more than 800 dedicated professionals worldwide. We have a big team supporting the entire blueberry industry. There's currently 3 R&D sites, so research and development sites that we have globally, where we breed all chill levels, namely Spain, Mexico, and the United States, where we have these sites. We also have over 9 nurseries and growing. So we have 3 nurseries in North America, 1 in Mexico, 2 in South America, Chile and Peru, a nursery in Spain, a nursery in the Netherlands. We recently opened China. There's a nursery in South Africa, and we are working very hard on being able to supply plants out of Morocco as well in the future. Fall Creek's mission is to build a world with better blueberries through exceptional plants, relationship, innovation, and customer success. To work towards this goal, we breed high quality genetics, grow exceptional plants, and we try to serve the industry as a whole. And as part of serving the industry, we provide different platforms to meet different needs. And we're going to talk about one of those platforms today. We have 3 commercial platforms. All these platforms have a mix of northern and southern high bush varieties. Open Catalog is a portfolio which is open to everyone, small, medium-sized, large-scale producers. Then we have our Sequoia program, an exclusive global business-to-business platform with excellent varieties and with a very high focus on 52 weeks a year production of high-quality fruit. And we have Collection, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. Collection is a platform that adds value to medium-sized, large-sized commercial blueberry growers through providing competitive advantage with a pipeline of new genetics at all chill levels. So we're only looking at northern high bush, specifically 2 of those varieties today, but this program has also different chill levels in it. It's a flexible program, allowing you to stay independent in growing and commercialization of that fruit. And there is increased support from our Fall Creek grower support with their technical expertise and insights from applied research. So today we're going to be talking about ArabellaBlue and LoretoBlue. You can ask why just these 2 varieties, aren't there more? So yes, there's more varieties in high chill, but sometimes you have to make a choice. But most of all, Arabella and Loreto are incredibly adaptable, which we will see throughout these presentations, and hopefully get some more insights for everybody that's working on them now and are seeing them on the farm. So with that, I would like to present Mariusz Padewski, our applied research manager. He's going to be showing us the findings from our applied research and show some developments that we are working on going forward. So Mariusz, please.
Hello, everyone. I will be presenting about some data, mostly from Europe, but not only from Europe, about Arabella and Loreto. That the global picture, I try to put the map where already Loreto and Arabella is planted. That means mostly you can see the North America on the east and west coast, and also in Chile. We got Europe pretty heavily planted, and also Turkey, Azerbaijan, Georgia, what is very difficult to mark on that map, but also in Central Asia, in Uzbekistan. We also have a trial in the South Africa, and some in Morocco, but also hopefully soon in China. That means it's over 160 locations globally today where we have trials and also commercial large plantings. Some feedback from all the sites, special about these two varieties, Arabella and Loreto, in our collection program. Good flavor, firmness, strong size, pretty good size, and very strong yields. Big picture about North America. As you see, the plantings and number of plantings of the locations, over 47 locations. We got quite good feedback from the growers, especially with impressive growth of the plants after the planting. You can see mostly it's on the west coast, but also we got something on the east coast, in New Jersey and North Carolina, but also in Michigan State. Europe over 111 locations today, and more is coming. The biggest planting is in Poland, 31 locations, but also we can see Italy, Germany, Netherlands, some in Turkey, Georgia, in Spain and Portugal, also something in UK, and even one location in Ireland. I mean, actually everywhere today in Europe, we see already Loreto and Arabella planted on some trials, but also on the commercial planting. The oldest planting, that means first planting of these two selections, varieties, was planted in 2019. One in Netherlands, one in Poland on the northeast. That means we got data from already 4 harvest years. And also from grower trials, we can see that both of these varieties have very good storage after harvest, up to 45 days. And also I want to mention that special Loreto is looking like pretty strong winter resistant, and we got great adaptability of Loreto and Arabella, because even in colder climate, Arabella also is performing quite well. Some data. That data is about Arabella from last year. We compared this Arabella to Duke Draper and Top Shelf, that is kind of similar harvest time. Is third year harvest, and you can see already in the third year harvest, we got over 4 kilos from Arabella. Actually was close to 4.2. Compared to Top Shelf, what is bigger size but lower shelf life, we can see that even in, already in third year, we can achieve 4 kilos per plant with pretty good size, because average size of Arabella fruits at that year was around 80 millimeters on that try, or not on that try, on that grower field. Arabella also, I split this harvest by each harvest. That means the gray color is the first harvest at that year, the blue is the second harvest, and third and fourth harvest. You can see that actually the second harvest is the strongest on all these varieties, but you can see how Arabella is performing pretty quickly in the third year harvest, already outperforming other existing varieties, what we compare to that. And that is quite good success, because pretty good return on your investment already in the third year, where you can see already 4 kilos per plant. If you've got 4,000 plants per hectare, that is already 16 tons in the third year harvest. That is 4 years after planting. Some data from this year is looking actually even better. We already exceeded over 5 kilos from Arabella, from the same plants what I presented you on the previous slide. And I compared to the same plants of Duke Draper and Top Shelf. And that year was pretty difficult on that location, because we got some climate issues and weather not was the best. We got some pest issues, but you can see still Arabella is outperforming pretty heavily from other varieties. And the fourth year harvest, to have fruits over 5 kilos, first class fruits, is pretty good. I mean, you can see Arabella is pretty stable on increasing the yield year after year. LoretoBlue, from the same location, I compared to Valor, Calypso, Cargo, and Liberty. You can see Loreto is the last column on that slide. At that year, it was last year, 30th harvest, the same like Arabella. Valor only was a bit better than Loreto at the time, but comparing to other factors like winter resistance and also shelf life, Loreto is outperforming on that subjects. And fruit size was similar to Valor because Valor is quite big fruit. And Loreto at the time has average of 19 millimeters of that grower field. This year, as we know, was more difficult year on that location with the fruit production. We got slightly smaller yield of all the varieties compared to the last year, but still Loreto was looking the best from all compared varieties on the same harvest window. Some data, what actually I did, because in our lab, when we measure the firmness of the fruits, we measure with FirmTech, but that is the grower measurements. What I did on the grower field, we harvest the fruits of all collection varieties, plus Duke and plus Calypso, and I measure with this tool the firmness of the fruits, what is actually force gauge measure in Newton, and you can see all the collection varieties much more firmed than existing varieties. And also you can see actually Loreto was one of the best from them, but also Arabella was just slightly behind. But you can see compared to Duke and Calypso, that is twice better firmness on that tool, on the grower field, and in the small grower lab, what you can see on the picture. I also have to say that this fruit was 2 days without cold storage after harvest. That means even without cold storage after harvest, they still been pretty firm. Something to remember if you want to ship the fruits over the world. Some data from our data from Oregon. Fruit size, I compare on the left-hand side in the columns Arabella to Draper and Duke. The kind of red color is the fruits over 21 millimeters in percentage. And the orange color-ish or brown light-ish, I don't know, and my wife will know better the colors than I, have 28% of Arabella, but Draper has only 23, Duke 22. But also you can see quite big fruit size. The fruit number was between 16 and 80 millimeters. And below 16, we got the smallest percentage from all these varieties, but I want to also mention they've been pretty close to 16 millimeters. With Draper and Duke, we measure even 11 or 12 millimeters fruits. On the right-hand side, you can see the same graph Loreto, what I compare to Calypso and Cargo. And you can see the Loreto data from that year was that we got even nearly 6% jumbo fruits over 21 millimeters and 32% of the size above 18 to 21. And we got similar number of fruits of below 16 millimeters with Loreto and Calypso, but again, Loreto was pretty close to 16 millimeters, mostly was 15.5, 15 millimeters fruits, where Calypso, we can see a lot of fruits about 12 and 11. And we not measure fruits from 12 to 14 or from 10 to 12, we measure under 16 only. Other data, Arabella, Draper, and Duke. You can see we scoring the fruit after cold store. This is data after 45 days in the cold store. We measure external firmness, what is bluish color of the column. And we got some internal firmness in the yellow, internal of the fruits, and also some average scoring on the taste after this 45 days in the cold store. And you can see Arabella is outperforming existing varieties on the same harvest window like Draper and Duke with the cooler trials after 45 days. That means we can see that 45 days Arabella stored in the cold store actually still tastes pretty good. And also the firmness of the fruits looking pretty good compared to Draper or Duke. Similar data for Loreto. Actually, data is showing after 60 days in the cold store. It's not controlled atmosphere cold store, it's normal cold store. And you can see also Loreto looking pretty good after these days, after 60 days, compared to Calypso and Cargo. The taste get a bit down, but having said that, still was pretty good. But the firmness was the most important one at that time, because 60 days still keeping the firmness is pretty good score. and pretty good results, where we not see other varieties today on the market that has this parameters after 60 days in the cold store. That means the shelf life of the LoretoBlue is really, really good. Some other things, what we're doing also, we doing a lot mechanical harvest on our research farm. That means we concentrating our breeding to develop the varieties for mechanical harvest these days. Actually, on the picture, you can see Arabella, where last year when we get machine and start harvesting the fruits, we collecting a lot data. We measure the pedicel retention. That means we pulling fruits by the tool from the plants to check if the variety of selection is pretty good for mechanical harvest. That means easy to also move the fruits from the plant, but remove from the stem. But also it's that we actually measure that the green fruits will stay on the mechanical harvest on the plant. They will not drop. We're doing shake taste also. That means we're doing the manual shake taste and we assessing the fruits potential dropping to the floor, like red, green fruit or damaged fruits or blue fruits. We also cutting the fruits after the cold store. That is actually blue ribbon after 30 days in the cold store to assess the damage after mechanical harvest or test fruit drop test. Another one, we looking for the concentration of the selection, and one of that is ArabellaBlue. When we start doing the mechanical harvest, is picture and actually the movie from the last year. And also you can see this year we already using a fine field machine for mechanical harvest on our research farm. Last year we was using this machine. This year we already using the Harvey 500 to assess the fruit quality after mechanical harvest, and also on Loreto and Arabella. The harvest, what you can see, is on Arabella last year with the machine. Also, we're looking data after mechanical harvest when it's going to harvester. We also checking what is happening in the packing lines. That is, we run in packing lines to make sure also we can assess the fruit damage after mechanical harvest, collect more data on the sizes and also on the damage. On the sizes, you can see the sorting line is doing by size every fruit and also pictures of every fruit, what we can assess actually what damage can bring the mechanical harvest. And we're looking for varieties what this damage will not appear. Yeah, and that's it from me. Now I will introduce Marcin. Marcin Vereszczuk is the grower support for Poland and Central Europe and East of Europe. I'm happy to handle everything to Marcin. Hello, Marcin.
Thank you, Mariusz. I want to take you today on a journey to Poland to see the performance of ArabellaBlue and LoretoBlue and how it all started in Poland. First trial plants arrived in Poland in 2019, and since then we have estimated the growth of the plants in Poland, and every year checking how the crop is, how plants are developing, and we wanted our customers to see that also with their own eyes, to see the potential of those varieties. And until 2024, we have delivered plants to 31 customers just in Poland. I think you could see on the map that this is the country with biggest number of collection customers until now. And during this spring, almost 100 hectares of Arabella and Loreto was already planted as commercial fields in Poland. And what is worth mentioning, all of those plantations are fields where we have tested Arabella and Loreto since 2019. So this is proving that our growers that we trusted before with delivering trial plants for them, they've seen the potential of the plants, and now they see the future of commercializing this fruit in the next years, and this is why they are planting now Arabella and Loreto. So concluding, we had good results from trial plants. We have very good vigor of both varieties on newly planted fields this season. and we have especially good reception of the fruit from customers. And what is coming for the first place is the outstanding cold storage performance of the fruit. And now I wanted to share with you some pictures from this season. Here we can see ArabellaBlue, newly planted field. Plants were planted 5th in May this year, and picture was taken in August. So this is 3 years after planting. Next, please, Toon. And on the other picture, you will also see similar field, but in different location. First picture was Northeast Poland. This is Central East Poland, also 3 months after planting. Plants are looking really healthy. You can see on the left picture the size of the leaves on the new canes of Arabella. Plants are looking really nice. Plants delivered to customers were really good quality. Customers were really satisfied with it. And this is the video of the farm that plants were planted in 2022, and this is June this year. You can see already really nice crop on those plants. Plants are more than 1 meter high, but to be honest, it was not the full potential of this variety, because this farm, it is in central Poland. This farm suffered quite big frost during May. So normally I would say that at least 30 to 40% fruit of this plants was gone. On this video, you can see Arabella fruit after 8 weeks storage. This fruit was picked on 23rd of July, and this video was taken 20th of September. And this is really interesting for me because Arabella is a mid-season variety. It's more or less Draper timing, but look at the quality of the fruit at the end of September. End of September, which is what we have actually right now. We are out of fruit in most European countries in the stores, and imagine that you have this mid-season variety. You are really flexible with marketing your fruit throughout next 8 weeks, and even probably some more. On this video, this are trial plants from my farm. They were planted last year, and this is first harvest. During this first harvest, we picked at least 80% of the fruit from all plants. You can see that fruit is really uniform, has a really nice size, more than 18 millimeters at this stage easily. Fruit was really exceptional, amazing flavor, really good firmness, and really nice appearance. And now we go on to Loreto in Poland. Also, I want to share with you some pictures of newly planted fields. Those are the same farms that you could see the pictures of Arabella, but now with Loreto, also 3 months after planting during this season. If you look on the right picture, you can see the number of new canes that this plant has developed only during first 3 months of growing. And I have been participating in blueberry factory project this year in Poland near Lublin, and there were people we planted folklore collection varieties in there last year. So plants were actually 16 months old during this event, and people were surprised seeing plants more than 1 meter high after just 16 months of growth in the soil. And I think nowadays for growers it is really important, and you should keep it in mind, that bringing up a commercial volume from newly planted field is something that is really important, because you invest a lot of money in planting, and you want to have your return on investment as soon as possible. And with those varieties, it is really possible. Next, please. This is video of Loreto, also from my farm. This is first harvest. The plants were planted last year, so this is 1 year after planting, and you can see that there is really nice crop. nice clusters of fruit. Fruit is really uniform, light blue, bit bigger than Arabella. From those plants, we harvested more than a kilo per plant from first harvest, and I think that is really something nice. And you need to take into account that this is northeastern Poland, so growing degree hours are much lower than even in Netherlands, not to be compared with France or Italy. So the plants in these locations grow a little bit less during the season, but still with this vigor and new genetics, you can achieve really good, satisfying results. Fruit was also exceptional, very good flavor, very nice firmness. And this is the Loreto fruit also after 8 weeks of storage. The storage performance from both varieties is comparable. Fruit of Loreto has a bit lighter color, it's a bit bigger than Arabella, but stores well as Arabella, and also you can store this fruit for at least 8 weeks in your cold store. And the fruit was stored in a normal cold store, not with controlled atmosphere. And now a few words about demo field in the Netherlands. We are growing ArabellaBlue and LoretoBlue in 37-liter pots. The plants have been planted in 21. What we observe is very good vigor of the plants, especially Arabella is truly amazing. It has a very, very high vigor, most vigorous plant in our demo field. The quality of the crop stands out from other varieties. And during 2024, from both varieties, we have picked more than 4 kilos. From Arabella, even more than 5 kilograms. And last year, we have picked also more than 4 kilos from both varieties. So what you can see is that they are consistently high yielding varieties. Here you can see fruit of Arabella blue, really uniform, nice, very nice firmness, super nice taste. I really love this fruit. And you can see on the left picture that whole clusters are almost fully ripe, which makes this variety pick very good. Here we can see a video of ArabellaBlue from last year, and this is third year of growing and second peak from those plants, which was more than 4 kilos. I think it's quite amazing. And as I mentioned before, you can clearly see full clusters that are really blue. 95% of many clusters, the fruit is blue, which makes it very good for picking. And if you just have a look on those branches that are loaded with fruit, I really like this. Oh, exactly here we can see full of blue, really nice firm berries. That's a really nice view for a grower. And now we go on to Loreto. The fruit is a bit more flat than Arabella, lighter color. Shelf life is more or less the same like Arabella, very good, more than 8 weeks. And we can go on to the next slide where you can see the movie. And the movie is also from last year from our demo field in Netherlands. It's from the same day that I took a video of Arabella. Arabella was in the time just before first peak, and Loreto here it's like 7 to 10 days till first peak. But you can already see the size of the fruit that is turning blue is more than 18 millimeters, and the first picking was obviously more than 20 millimeters on average from the fruit. Fruit is also very firm, has excellent flavor and very good storage, and giving also consistent crops. And now we go on to Andrea. Andrea, hope you are there with your presentation. Yeah.
I will try to share my screen. Yeah, now let's try to deliver some feedback from the south part of Europe, so Portugal and Italy. The same map that Marius showed before, so this is Europe. We can see we have several trials around Europe spread in different countries, in different climates. So what is interesting is that even of these different climate and trials, all the feedback has been very uniform. So for more than 100 locations, we have seen winter resistant, great adaptability almost everywhere in different type of soils, different climate. Quality of the fruit amazing with a long storage, and so these two varieties are really amazing. So today I would like to show you some results from the breeding trials we have in the north of Italy and from two fields that we have in north of Portugal that are two commercial fields. So let's start from Portugal, where we have two locations. There are two commercial fields. One is located close to the coast, and another one is 250 kilometers inside. So totally different climate. So it is also interesting to see the difference between the two fields. And the first one is Gemme, close to the ocean. The climate is very different than the other one. This is much cooler. And this plantation has been planted in 2023. So this year it has been the first crop. The establishment of the plants has been struggling at the beginning. It has been done some mistakes also in the management, some mistakes in pruning. For sure, this plantation could have performed better than what it did. We picked 300 grams per plant. It's not so bad, to be honest, as a first pick. All the crop in June, so it is a very interesting month. With a better management, the performance could be much better. But the quality of the fruit was amazing. The grower was super happy because this quality of the fruit was really good. After 50 days, like happened in Poland, happened the same here in Portugal. And after 50 days of cold storage in just a normal cooler, the quality of the fruit was just fresh, like just picked. The grower was so happy that now in 2024 he planted a new commercial field. These pictures are the plants after 6 months, growing really nice, much better management. These very good looking plants are very promising for next year. So if we see this plantation now, I'm really curious to see what will happen next year. The second plantation is in Vila Cortés de Mondego in Portugal, inside, so totally different climate, very dry, very hot. So here the plants growing very good, beautiful plants. It has been managed better from the pruning point of view, and in this location, we did also a better shape of the plants since the beginning. And the first harvest that it has been last summer, it has been 1.2 kilos per plant, so very good. Again, growers very happy. Most of the crop in June, so first harvest 7th of June, last pick 12th of July. In this location, we tried to do some summer pruning after harvest. So it was the middle of July. Arabella is very vigorous, especially in the south of Europe. Probably it needs to be managed with a kind of summer pruning or tipping, or we have to learn how to manage this big vigorous, because sometimes it's really very vigorous. We try to do some summer pruning. Some plants suffered because we had a very extreme heat wave just after pruning, so it has been also unlucky to have this very strong heat. And some plants suffered. It has been not dramatical. In fact, if you see from the pictures, there are few plants with some damage, but not really big problem. But I was thinking it was good to share this with you to see that we have to manage these vigors in the summer, and when it is very hot, we have to be a bit careful. But this grower in Portugal has been super happy because this 1.2 kilo per plant that is picked, it was extremely good, very big size. If you can see here, the sizer is 21 millimeters, so extremely big size, good fruits, very firm, really amazing. Now the other location I would like to share is north of Italy. Here, totally different climate than before. Here we are in the mountain. 1,000 meters over the sea, so very cold in winter. We have snow, like you see in the pictures. And we have this breeding trial where is a Fall Creek breeding trial where we trial every year a lot of selections. Every year we try more than 50 selections since 2017, so it's quite a lot of years now. The main objective is compare the new selection with the standard varieties and also the new variety, of course, with the standard. Main objective is winter hardiness, of course, because we are in the mountains, the shelf life and the quality of the fruits, and of course also productivity. We plant in 27-liter pot, is not very big, also because here we would like to have quite a fast turnover. We don't want to try much longer than 5-6 years. So the objective is not really to check the productivity in a very old system, but after 5-6 years, we change all the variety, all the selection to have the possibility to try much more selection every year and much more data. This breeding trials is very interesting. It's very interesting also for customers because we have here in the pictures, you see some customers visiting last summer from Chile to see our variety and the new selection, how they compare each other. It is a very good playground also for grower support. Grower support of Fall Creek are coming here several times per year to check and learn how the different selection perform. For example, here in these pictures, we are pruning by ourselves. So it is a very good way to learn and to really see how the selection performs in this field. And also the breeders, of course, of Fall Creek are coming here several times to have a look and to compare data. So now let's start talking a bit about ArabellaBlue FC14-062. When we planted the first time, probably it has been the first trial we did in Europe. It has been 2017. So at this moment, this was probably still just a number, was not a variety yet. So at the beginning, we have seen immediately that this selection was very strong, very vigorous. And after just one growing season with a lot of flower buds, very winter hardy, very productive, very strong, really easy to grow. So it has been always promising. And since the beginning, we have seen the potential of these selections. At the third year, it is almost in full production because it's so vigorous that it's growing very fast and very fast going in full production. And what is very interesting is also that different planting date, 2017, 2018, 2020, if we compare the three planting date, they're quite uniform in the terms of results. The quality of the fruit is amazing. It's a very aromatic flavor, exceptional shelf life. We try also in a normal cooler, just normal cooler at 4 degrees for 4 or 5 weeks. So several weeks in this normal cooler. After that, the fruits is really perfect, like almost picked. What is interesting, we planted the first 10 plants in 2017, and then we repeat 2018 and 2020 to have more inside. And what is interesting, if we see here at the third year after planting, we almost are more than 3 kilos per plants. Even if we plant here, we have to say in this breeding trial, we plant very close between each other because we plant every plant at 50 centimeters to save a bit of space and to have the possibility to check more selection. So we have to prune quite a lot. In this condition, if we check in this graph, the planting date of 2017, that is the blue, the orange is 2018, and the gray 2022, three of them at the third year, it is almost more than 2.5 kilos, and 2018 even 3.5. So very, very good, very productive, very fast to build productivity. Now, if we go to talk about LoretoBlue FC11-118, we first planted this variety a bit later in 2020 because this selection has been advanced a bit later compared to Arabella. So we planted in 2020, so we have a bit less data from these breeding trials. What we have seen, it is very different than Arabella, so much less vigorous. So Loreto is much more equilibrated, growing a bit slowly, but very good flower buds, very big, strong, very winter hardy. So these plants are really balanced, going in dormancy in the autumn very quickly and lose the leaves quite quickly compared to Valor that we know everybody that keeping the leaves quite longer. We have seen always a good crop. Is a mid-late season ripening between Valor and Cargo, let's say, and the productivity is very high and very winter hardy and with a good crop. We have seen also the fruits after the shelf life, after the cooler. We see an exceptional shelf life like we see in Arabella, with a classic blueberry flavor, very firm. Loreto is growing much slowly compared to Arabella, so also the building up the crop and the yield is a bit slowly. But if we look at this graph, is more than reasonable. If we think of the second year, more than half kilo, and the third year, more than 1.5, and the fourth year that it was actually 2024, it was last summer, it is more than 3 kilos per plants. To be in the mountain like we are, with a short season similar to Poland, so the plants are growing a bit less, it is a very, very good crop. And so now a good question, because everybody can ask, but why ArabellaBlue is better than Draper and Top Shelf? We know that Draper and Top Shelf are not bad varieties, so why Arabella is better? If we see all this data from Marcin, from Marius, and all the feedback coming from the field around Europe and the world, we see that it's just faster to establish a big yield. Is growing very well, is very good, adaptable almost everywhere, growing very fast and very fast building the yield. Is much firmer, and the shelf life is absolutely better than Draper and Top Shelf. And it is very, very winter hardy and very good adaptability. So this is the benefit, let's say, from that Arabella has in front of Draper and Top Shelf. If we do the same question with Loreto, why Loreto is better than Valor and Cargo? Of course, we compare every variety, depends on the picking season. So Loreto is a Valor and Cargo window, let's say. So why Loreto is better than Valor and Cargo? First of all, it's a nice plant, easy to prune and easy to harvest. But compared to Valor, for example, is much firmer. Loreto is much firmer than Valor with similar size. And compared to Cargo, is much bigger, because we know Cargo is a good variety, is firm, but the size is not amazing. So Loreto has a much better size compared to Valor, and a much better size compared to Cargo. And of course, it's very winter hardy, like we said. I think this is my last slide. Now I think we have time to answer the questions. I stop sharing my screen.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, everybody, for the presentations. So we're going to open it up for some questions now. We've already seen one question pop up in the Q&A. Oh, actually, now there's all of a sudden quite a few more, which is great. Thank you for that. Let's go with some questions in the Q&A section first. Let me go from the beginning. Diogo, could post-harvest pruning be beneficial to Loreto? Who would like to take that from the team?
I think I can take it, because we tried several things in summer pruning with this variety here in the south of Europe. And I think Loreto doesn't need a very strong summer pruning. Arabella, absolutely yes. I think Arabella is needed because it's so vigorous that it needs some tips or some summer pruning. In my opinion, Loreto doesn't need any summer pruning.
Thanks, Andrea. Jorge, you put in a question, the high figure of these varieties, will it not affect the visibility of the fruit for picking by hand? What advice on handling the figure? I think, Marcin, you probably want to say something about that.
Yeah, I think your question is due to the video of the Arabella that we showed, that I shared from the demo field, and the way the fruit was hidden a little bit in the canopy was due to one mistake that someone made, but I don't want to put that in front of everyone. But I think you were on our field and forum this year, and those plants look completely different. Fruit was outside, because I will also answer one more question answering this one, which was about pruning of Arabella, because it's very interesting what we did because we prune the whole demo field by ourselves. And during pruning of Arabella, I remember like it was yesterday that we were standing next to each other with Toon after pruning that we did. We counted flower buds, and actually came out 5 kilos per plant average. I remember I said that to you, and because I was scared that we left not enough canes, but it usually comes out that if you think you left not enough, it's just enough. So we only left 1-year-old canes from the previous year with the flower buds on the top. We did not leave almost any laterals on Arabella, and this way we achieved 5 kilos per plant, and fruit was outside, easy for picking. But you need to remember one thing, that you need trellising for Arabella, because it produces really long canes, and of course your fruit will want to go outside, which will be better for picking, but you need to use trellising. And one thing that you can see next year on our demo field is that we are going to make pruning trial, and I think that we can reach more than 6 or maybe even 7 kilos per plant from Arabella. I hope.
Thanks, Marcin. There's another question. What cooling parameters do you use for long-term storage? I'm going to look at Marcin and Andrea to start with that one, to share the experience we have in the field, and perhaps Marius afterwards you can give us some insight on what we do in our R&D on fruit storage.
So the fruit, the thing I shared, the videos from the fruit was normal cooler with nothing special, just 2 degrees, 1 degree cooler, and no controlled atmosphere.
And the one we tried in north of Italy, it was just a normal cooler, even worse than Marcin said, is 4 degrees, a small cooler, just open and closing the door all the time. So it was not specific trials for cooler or for shelf life, just really normal, simple trials. I don't know if in Oregon they do something more specific, Marius, to try the shelf life. I don't know, because
no, it's the similar parameters from 1 to 3 in general, and also the growers data coming from the cooler, normal cooler, commercial coolers, what temperature is around 1. But we can see when we looking the data of the coolers is coming from 1 to 3, dropping to 1, 1 to 3 is dropping to 1. That is, for example, the grower coolers, but it's normal coolers, commercial coolers.
Thank you. Another question about plant spacing. So what plant spacing did we achieve the 5 kilos per plant? This is Marcin, I'm going to ask you again.
Yeah, the pots are 85 centimeters, one from another, and the rows are 285, one from another. So it's quite dense.
Yeah. So Jorge asked another question. I think that was actually the first question we got when Marius was presenting the numbers of Arabella. Where did we, where in Europe did these results come from? So I think it was our demo site, right, Marius, and the technology used?
Yes, that was demo site in Netherlands, but that compared pretty well with the results from Poland, because these two sites have the oldest plantings. Obviously, Andrea have the oldest plants, but the plants what we measure was planted in 2019, and that was from Poland and Netherlands. And the very precise data is from Netherlands in substrate. But to be honest, we got similar results in soil from Poland.
Thank you, Marius. There's a few questions that popped up in the chat as well. We'll start with the first one. Is Arabella possible for replacing Duke? Who would like to take that one?
Yeah, this is not an easy question. So Arabella is a early mid. If we look at Duke, is 1 week earlier than Arabella. So if you're looking at very extremely early in terms of earliness, Arabella is not as early as Duke. In terms of quality of the fruits, there is no discussion. Is 20,000 better, but how do you say, is a different strategy, because here with Arabella you just go on quality, firmness, shelf life, productivity, and with Duke you just look at the earliness, and that's it.
Yeah, so I think in terms of timing, Duke is 10 days to 14 days earlier than Arabella.
No, less than 14 in my opinion. Is 1 week, 10 days.
So yeah. Whatever it is, it's not exactly the timing. So if is it a one-on-one replacement for Duke? I don't think that this is the variety, but it does come close towards its earliness, but it doesn't meet the same timing. Then we have a question about Luna. If the fruit quality from Luna is better than both Loreto and Arabella. Seeing that we're talking about Arabella and Loreto, it's a curveball. Marcin, you wanna take that?
Yeah, Luna fruit is comparable to fruit of Arabella and Loreto. I would say that Arabella and Loreto have bit better quality than Luna, but from the late varieties that are currently on the market, Luna has the best quality of the fruit. But we didn't speak about it today. The reason for it is that it's not performing in all of the locations that we are trialing now across Europe. So we wanted to focus especially on Arabella and Loreto because of its adaptability in most of locations in Europe, and the interest from the growers that we are getting with those two varieties.
Yeah, I want to add, talking about Luna, that is not performing well in the extremely cold, like for example Poland in north of Europe, but in south of Europe I have to say that the plant is performing quite well, is very productive, and the quality of the fruit is for sure an improvement of all the latest variety that are available now. But like Marcin said, we wanted to focus on Arabella and Loreto because they are really the most adaptable. We have seen all the feedback in every location performing super good everywhere. With Luna, we still have to check in some countries if it is performing really better than last fall or not.
Thank you, Marcin and Andrea. We have another interesting one. Can we compare the flowering time and the harvest time of those two varieties? Perhaps we look a little bit over the different regions, Marcin and Andrea, how they compare.
I would say that Loreto is standard flowering timing for most of the varieties. It's more or less Draper timing flowering, and Arabella, which is quite interesting, it flowers later. Few days later than Loreto and other varieties, and this is something that stands out on the farm, that it's really the really late variety for flowering, even though the fruit is ripe faster. Did you ask also about fruiting period or?
Yeah, the harvest time.
Okay, so the harvest window for Arabella, it's more or less Draper time. And for Loreto, it's more or less Liberty or a bit earlier than Liberty. I would say it's between Arabella and Loreto.
Anything to add on that, Andrea, or that sums it up for you as well, more or less?
Yeah, no, flowering is here in the south is a bit different, but it depends on the season as well. This last season it has been very strange. We had extremely early flowering due to the extremely more than very warm winter, warmer than normal. So the flowering it has been quite earlier compared to what we have seen years ago. But what I can say, Arabella and Loreto is nothing special. It's a normal flowering time, not extremely early. For example, to compare with Cargo, Cargo is the first always that open the flowers. There is no, they don't flower as early as Cargo, I have to say. So it's a bit later than Cargo. A flowering time, I mean.
Thank you. I hope that answers the question. We have got some questions about disease susceptibility, soil-borne diseases, and just some disease susceptibility, I guess, in the production. Can you say something more about disease susceptibility, Andrea? What your experience is with that?
To be honest, I didn't see anything special. These two varieties are really strong, very performing very well. The only problem we have seen this year, it has been the first year we have seen that I have this stress that I show from the plants from Portugal, that the reaction of the very hot summer, probably it has been because the pruning, it has been kind of the summer pruning a bit too aggressive, maybe, I don't know, or it was the heat wave too really strong. To be honest, I'm looking this variety from 2017. I've never seen a problem, never. I don't know, Marcin, if you see something in Poland, but I don't believe so, because everybody are so excited in Poland about these two varieties that I don't believe they have seen any problem.
There is one thing that we recommend trellising for both varieties, especially after planting, straight after planting. So the plant vigor is exceeding other varieties, and it's highly exceeding them in the vigor of planting. So if you have open fields, especially open fields with strong winds blowing from the sides to your rows, you might have a problem with broken crown of those varieties, because during first and second year, plant develops big number of canes, and the surface of the plant is with the leaves is very big. So with the high winds, you need to be careful to trellis your new plantings, just to be safe on that.
Marcin, I'm going to ask you, put this one to you as well. There's a question about what planting distance does Fall Creek suggest for these varieties?
I would say that depending on the field and maintenance, it would be somewhere around 80 centimeters between the plants. You can go a bit more dense, but no denser than 70 centimeters, or a bit more wide to 90 centimeters. What I would recommend is 80 centimeters. This is a very good average, I would say.
And that's for both varieties, Marcin?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, there's a question about frost. You mentioned late frost in Poland, Marcin. How do these two varieties resist late frost compared to other varieties? And I'm gonna make the assumption in this question, and please, Ovidio, correct me if I'm wrong, that this is about the bud in, let's say, late winter, early spring.
I think Mariusz can say about the buds. the buds frost, because he made some comparison with Draper, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking about buds with Loreto, we even in the strongest winter, like 3 years ago, we see damage on all varieties. Remember, it was -40 in Poland where we tested. But Loreto and Arabella have the best recovery after that winter compared to others. And with normal winters, when we calling -20, -15, when we compare to other varieties, Loreto has only top bud damage and not full. It was like a 50%, only one bud. But in Arabella was a bit more, was about 10% of the buds damage. But I love if Arabella have some buds damage, because in my opinion has too many flowers. And I love if there's some damage is occurring in the winter on Arabella. I mean, even when it's some damage, still is a lot buds to secure this 4 or 5 kilos per plant. When we comparing to other varieties, like Duke, for example, or even Draper, we see even sometimes bigger damage than Arabella is showing in the winters. And obviously, these two varieties have less buds per cane, per lateral, compared to Arabella. I mean, Arabella is pretty secure because of the buds number. And Loreto, we rarely see any damage, to be honest, in the winter and early in the spring.
Thanks, Marius.
The same in Italy?
Yeah, more or less, yes, Marius. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, in fact, I have seen another question here in the chat. Sorry, Tune, I use your job, but I've seen
Go ahead.
Could be more than 4 kilo per plant. Absolutely, yes. In my opinion, yes. Probably the risk is overcropping. So I agree with Marius. Sometimes we need some help of some frost damage, or we need to prune very well. But definitely these plants can produce more than 4 kilos. Yeah, these varieties. But we have to be careful to don't overcrop. We have to prune really well to keep the size.
Then there's a couple of questions around chill. Let's combine them in one question. There's one question about how Loreto will perform in areas with less than 500 chill, so in mid-chill areas, and another question about how many chill hours these varieties actually need, and are they true high chill? For example, comparing them to Duke and Cargo. You wanna take that one, Andrea?
To be honest, I don't know about Loreto, about less than 500 chill. I don't know. To be honest, I don't have. These are northern highbush, so I don't know even if we have some trials in a so low chill environment. Marius, do you have in mind some?
Yeah, but in general, these varieties should perform about 1,000 chill.
Yeah.
But we see also that in Portugal, we got sometimes 800 chill when it's performing well. It's another question about chill. It is real high chill. I mean, compared to Duke or Cargo, I can say even with 4,000 chill hours, where we have in Poland, for example, northeast, these varieties are performing on this high chill. I think the question is about the minus temperature and length of the cold, not regarding the chill hours, because the chill hours determine something different than the minus temperatures. I mean, yeah, they are high chill, and they required more than 1,000 chill hours.
So we don't really know about the 500. So
we test
500. I think is too low for Loreto, in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, on that 500 chill, we got better varieties than this one, because they may not perform on that chill. We got other varieties for that chill region.
I have one more question that's open. What was the grade out from machine harvest? Marius, I'm going to look at you because I think we need to look at applied research data for that. Do we have any numbers on grade out that we've had?
Yeah, We have, depending of the harvest and depending on the year, but it's looking like mostly Arabella have like a grade out 1 to 3% maximum. That means quite often using the other machines, you can see bigger drop on the floor than the grade out from the harvest.
So there's another one concerning mechanical harvesting that just popped in. So if trellising is the best option for Arabella, mechanical harvesting is compromised. How do you advise resolving this issue?
Oh, I can answer. These days, the machines can go via all the support systems. And it's no problem because the machine have the parameters where the support system going with the plants into machine. I mean, I don't see the issue compromising the mechanical harvest because of the releasing all the support for the plants.
Thank you, Marius. I'd like to see if there's any more questions that pop up. If somebody still has questions left for the team. See, something popped up. So there's a question just popped up. Can you compare the two varieties in terms of post-harvest shelf life?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. We can compare. Both of them are very good in shelf life. It's very comparable. Pots or soil? I think we have experienced both. In marching in Poland, I think there are several plantations in soil. And
yes, most of the plantings are in soil, but there is there are 2 farms that we have plants in, actually 3 farms, because on the 3rd farm we have plants in the soil and in the pots. And this 3rd farm is very interesting comparison because sometimes they are suffering from a high water level, and they have part of their plants planted in the field and the other part in the pots just 100 meters from that. And the plants in the pot outperform plants in the soil because of the water. So if you have water maintenance problem, the answer is easy. You need to go in the pot. But both of the growers are really good. Maybe the plant establishment and even the growth is a bit better and a bit more equal in the pots. But saying that, you need to remember, if you saw my pictures from soil plantings in Poland, they are not really soil plantings. They are substrate plantings in a row that is filled with the substrate. It's not a substrate that you use for pot planting like Allegro or BVB or some other company, but it's a substrate made of peat, pine bark, and some other organic material. So this is also very good substrate for growing those plants, and this is why their growth behavior is also very good and equal in first years.
Yeah, I can add. This question is from UK. Guys, planting pots, you know how to do that.
It's a good addition. Thanks, Marius. I think we're going to close the Q&A session if there's no more pressing questions that are coming up. I hope everybody had the insights they needed and were able to ask the questions that they had. Before we go, I would like
I've seen a couple of new questions.
Too quick.
This LoretoBlue variety.
Thank you. Have you planted them in white peat, actually? So do we have any experience with white peat plantings?
Sorry, what was the full question, Tony?
Have we planted them in white peat? Do we know of any plantings in white peat?
If you want to plant straight in white peat, this is not a good option, no matter how you do it. So you need to mix with something, because white peat is going to be good for 1 season and then you will have problems because it will compress. So White peak, by meaning Baltic peat, it's a good add to mix with. It's Baltic peat, yeah. It's acidic peat. I mean it correctly. Yeah, white peat. So it's a good substrate to mix with the soil or with some other adds, but not straight in the white peat.
Good. Thank you, Marcin. We're going to close the questions with that one. Thank you very much. Before we close off, I would really like to share with everybody some closing remarks, some key takeaways from today that we would like you to take forward. We've seen many things, we've had many questions, and I think very good insights on these two varieties. I think if we look at what we would really like you to remember is that these varieties have been extensively tested and have proven winter hardiness in very extreme conditions on both the plants and the flower buds. They show a significant improvement in yield buildup, especially Arabella, fruit firmness, where Loreto really steps out, and they both are a very big step forward in average fruit size. They've consistently performed well in very different locations. That's why we think and we feel that they're very adaptable. And you've seen today many different locations with their performance. The storage quality of the fruit is exceptional of both those varieties, with over 40 days of storage with good quality fruit on both of them, and even longer in many different practical examples that we've given. Both varieties are suitable for mechanical harvesting for fresh due to their fruit firmness and their harvest concentration. Those are the main topics you would like to have you take away. With that, I would like to thank our speakers, Marius, Andrea, and Marcin, for your insights in ArabellaBlue and LoretoBlue, and thank everybody for their participation and their questions. Great interaction. Thank you very much for that. We hope the insights today shared with you give you some perspective on the behavior of these varieties in the different areas where we've showcased them. We're very excited as a group to be able to bring such varieties into the market, which are so adaptable. It really provides something unique. If you did not receive all the information you were looking for or were expecting, you need further information than we presented, or you'd just like to know a little bit more about the collection platform, please reach out to your local grower support. And I'm pretty sure that most of us know who the grower support or your contact point is in your area, but let me show them to you anyway. So for the Northern Territories, myself, Marcin, who presented, and Bas Tramper will be available to support you. If we look at North Africa, Middle East, and Iberia, specifically Iberia in this case, we have our grower supports, Felix, Abdella, and Abderrahim, who are available for questions. If we look at Southeast Europe, the Balkans, and the Black Sea, Andrea himself, Shako, Khalil, and Alexandru, we like to call him Alex, are there to help you. And the same for our colleagues in South Africa. I'm not sure if they were on the call today, but there were some South Africans registered. We actually had over 17 different nationalities registered here today. And for South Africa, we have Barbara, Jean, Stegman, and Nick, who are able to support you in all those needs. And with that, I would like to thank everyone again for their participation, and we wish everybody a pleasant continuation of their day. Thank you very much.